The controversies keep coming for Democratic Senate candidate Graham Platner. On the heels of apologizing for a tattoo associated with Nazis, an offensive post about a wounded U.S. soldier, now his wife, Amy Gertner, is responding to reports that she gave his campaign a heads up about her husband sending sexually explicit texts to several different women. Baby, these men are having the hardest time. I mean, it doesn't even matter what side of the fence you're on. These men are just whipping and racing all through the place.
Are men okay?
I don't know. But let's take a look at this clip.
No marriage is perfect, and I don't want a perfect marriage. I want my marriage, and I want to be married to Graham. I think it's shameful behavior to spend time and energy and resources on negative ads and negative stories on Graham when all he's trying to do is improve the lives of people who work for a living.
So the Platner says the report isn't true. Now, who knows? But as I was looking at this, I just thought, no shade, gentlemen. But it just feels like y'all are out of control.
I know.
Every time we turn around, somebody got somebody else up against the wall, in the bed, what is happening? I mean...
But I think we feel like that because also this has... Like this year, we have seen a lot of out-of-control men, right?
And
men
don't
gone
forget
wild.
The one at the top.
Well, that's true. The one they all voted for, all those Bible-clutching Christians voted for the guy who we all heard boast about sexual assault on video and tape. But forget that. Just in the last few months, we've dealt with the Eric Swalwell scandal, which was horrible, and with the scumbag from Texas, what was his name, Tony Gonzalez, the Republican who was having the affair with his staffer. That was horrible. There is no doubt that this guy, Platner, is flawed in many ways. This is different than the Eric Swalwell thing so far, because no women have come forward that I know of or that have been reported. We haven't seen that sex like we did with Swalwell, but it is disturbing and it is horrible. And why can't we do better? Why can't we have better candidates? Why do we have to have Ken Paxton in Texas, who has got baggage that it's not even baggage, it's steamer trunks of ethical questions around him? It's just kind of sad.
What a lot of Democrats are arguing is that the path to Democrats taking back the Senate runs through Maine and winning this seat where he's the nominee. And what I would say as a Republican who sadly watched the quality of candidates we've chosen to put in office or to run diminish over the last decade, I would tell you it's not worth it. It's not worth compromising your morals and values and integrity. To be honest, his sexting is the least of my concerns with this
that's
guy.
What I thought.
Graham Platner trashed a Purple Heart recipient, said he didn't deserve to live, defamed fallen Navy SEAL Chris Kyle, downplayed how hard it is to report sexual assault in the military, repeatedly used anti-gay slurs and homophobic posts as recently as 2021, called himself an avowed communist, and has a Nazi tattoo for 20 years that he's since covered up. This guy just seems like a guy of not very good character. And there are a lot of options in this country. And by the way, there are other paths for Democrats to win. Just win a different state. You need 4 seats. Look at Alaska, look at Iowa, look at Texas. Don't die on the hill of a guy who is going to be a headache for you for years to come.
And not to make this political, because I'm usually not the one that does that, but watching that video of the wife saying, don't spend energy on these ads. The problem with these ads is they are true. These accusations are true. What they're doing to James Tallarico in Texas are calling him things that he isn't. That's where you don't spend energy is on false information. But on this, I would argue, you tell it like it is. This is a character flaw. This isn't, Platner has said, he did it in form. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I've changed. This is a problem. The Purple Heart recipient, by the way, the video he insulted, was a man who took fire to save his team. And he said, this stupid guy should have died. It's only because they didn't have good aim that he's here. If you were capable of saying that at any time in your life, you've shown me who you are, and I heard you. This man should be nowhere near Congress. We've already got a wealth of people we need out. We're not sending one like this in.
Yeah, I am conflicted.
Thank you.
I am conflicted. They asked Cory Booker how he felt about this, because I think all the allegations are true. The sexting with other women while married is definitely true, because his wife is the person that gave the messages to his campaign to give them a heads up. So the fact now that he's saying
I don't
that
think
part
she
is
gave
not
messages.
true.
I think she said that he had she told
them
campaign right,
but
we haven't seen messages.
But she disclosed it.
Right. Yeah.
So
She
why would
disclosed
she
it.
lie about that? So that part is true. He's also made racist remarks about against African Americans. So he's a cheater. He's an anti-Semite, because the fact that he had that tattoo for 20 years and didn't know what it was is a lie. So he's a liar, a racist, an anti-Semite.
Homophobe.
He's a homophobe. So he's all the things, and character does matter. But we have someone that has almost unbridled power in the White House at this point. There are no checks and balances. And the only way that we can maybe bring a bit of our democracy back is by having a Congress that functions and that has these checks and balances. And I do think one of the only ways is to win that seat in Maine. And so like Cory Booker said, this is a concern, but our country is in grave
There are other paths,
peril.
and they don't have to go through Maine.
We'll see what happens. But these are character flaws that I'm tired of hearing about.
Yeah,
Yes.
me too.
I
I'm tired of it. I'm just like, just keep it in your pants. Just stop being stupid.
Oh,
you know?
I need to add that he said that he sent the racist things because he was suffering from PTSD from his tour in Afghanistan.
Right.
I know a lot of soldiers that have
Yeah.
PTSD that aren't racist.
Yeah.
Listen, who knows what is what, but I'd like the quality of the people we are dealing with to be better.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, we can ask for better. And you're right about Tyreek. I was shocked to see what they were trying
Yeah.
to pin on him,
Yeah.
because they can't get it. You know, I mean, he's a good kid.
they gotta make up
He's
stuff.
like making stuff. It's
When you're
so
having
bizarre.
when your worst accusation is that the man's a vegan,
A vegan?
which he's not, you really can't make more stuff up.
Come on.